Good evening, everybody. Thanks to all our viewers that have joined us for this GCSE live revision session. AQA on the 13th of May 2026. It's paper one, and you've come to the right place to do our revision. Who's in the chat? Hit us up. Who's in the chat? Who's going to join us tonight for our live revision on tropical rainforests? Yeah, say hello. Who is here? Have you also got your cup of tea? It is called cup of tea in case studies. So yeah, get your cup of tea in hand. Oh, so nice, so nice. Yeah, let's see who is in. As you know, if you're regulars, we do some live revision based on content we think is going to be in the exam in 2026. Then there's also a little quiz at the end to see who is the geography, I call it Geography Geek of the Week. Who is going to be the Geek of the Week with their revision and making sure that you have the knowledge ready for this summer's examination. So let's have a little look. Moderators in. Good to see you, moderator. How are things, by the way? You're kind of flying visit. You don't have to actually tell me on YouTube if you don't want to. I know you're in a bit of a rush this morning. Yeah, let us know how you are. Hopefully things are good. And Fred's here. Yeah, Fred's here. Good to see you, Fred. Thanks for joining us. Absolute legend. Always on the live streams. You know, that's fantastic to see you here. Yeah, hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed, do subscribe to the channel. We are going to get you ready for this year's examination in geography. Paper 1, Paper 2 and Paper 3 here on Cup of Tea and Case Studies. Feeling good. Right. Today, I want to go through ecosystems. So this is question 2 we're going to look at. Question 2, we're going to look at small-scale ecosystems. We're going to study UK freshwater ponds. I don't know, just check with your teachers and check with your school. You may do a different case study. But yeah, we're going to look at UK small-scale ecosystems. And then we're going to go to large-scale ecosystems. We're going to look at the Amazon rainforest. So by the end of this live stream, you should be an expert in ponds and an expert in rainforests. Oh, I'm excited for this one. I do love, if you know me, and many of you do in the live streams, I love plants, animals, ecosystems. This bit of geography is just awesome. Yeah, and getting you ready. What are the essence of what you need to know here with this unit is causes, impacts, and management. Usually they're kind of the themes. Causes, what causes the impacts to the ecosystem, what are the impacts on the ecosystem, and how do we manage our ecosystem sustainably. So they are the common themes. Right. If you are new to the channel and you're just joining us for some revision, you are going to need a piece of paper. Here we go. Piece of paper, some nice coloured pencils, a pen, always got a highlighter on standby, all that good stuff. And obviously a drink and some chocolate. Yeah, treat yourself. Have some chocolate, have a biscuit. Make sure you got some little revision snacks near you before we get started. So get all that good stuff there. If you do want to chat in the comments, then please do chat. We have got moderators, but you can chat in there. Ask any questions, fire any answers away. But also, as well, if you want to kind of ask anything that you're not sure about, yeah, get onto the chat. If you're struggling to post in the chat, you do need a public YouTube account. So set up a public YouTube account. You should then be able to chat. I had to go to the doctor. Everything is fine. The office machine didn't work. So yeah, that's fine. As long as you're all good. Yeah, I don't want anything. I don't want anything bad happening to you. One of the greatest geographers of all time is my moderator. So I'm glad you are fit and well. Right, let's get on with tonight's live stream then. Hopefully you are all set and ready. And yeah, thank you for joining us here today. So as we say, we're going to look at UK ponds and UK tropical rainforests. So always at the top in the middle, this is just A4 piece of paper. I always do the little banner at the top here. So let's have a zoom in. Here we go. If you haven't got any A4 paper, you could use revision cards. A3 paper, any revision notes. You can just make your own revision notes if you wish. So again, everything we talk about tonight is for paper 1. It's physical geography. Physical geography. And this is going to be question 2 on the paper on the 13th of May. And that is in the morning, obviously 2026, but that is in the morning AM. So everything we do tonight is all preparing for that section of the exam. Question 2 is Living World. It is worth 25 marks. So this section should, in theory, take you 25 minutes to complete in the summer for 25 marks. In geography, it's roughly 1 mark a minute. Who else we got in? Cody, good to see you, Cody. Thanks for dropping by. And we've got Tay as well. Thank you, Tay. A regular on the live stream chat. I will create a little scoreboard as well. We're just trying to make revision fun. We're trying to make it a bit more fun, a bit more engaging, because it can be a bit dull, can't it? So we'll have a little bit of a running scoreboard. We've got Fred, we've got Cody. Thank you for joining us, guys. Who else we've got Tay, right? And we might have some other people in the background. We've got more than that viewing, but anyway, get involved if you can. So let me move to the top left-hand corner. Here we go. We're going to focus on UK small-scale ecosystems. This has not really been on the exam paper ever in any detail, and this is why I think we need to be looking at this and be ready for it. So UK small-scale. So these ecosystems do not cover large areas of countries. This is your small-scale ecosystem. And we studied freshwater ponds. Freshwater ponds. Okay, so that is our specialism. Okay, where we're going to start then is we're going to look at what we call biotic and abiotic. If we've got biologists in the chat, we might know the difference between biotic and abiotic. Let's get a zoom in. So I'm just going to put that there. So if you can hit us up in the chat, guys, what is the difference between biotic and abiotic features of an ecosystem? Who knows the difference between biotic and abiotic? Let's have a look who else is on the chat as well. Let's catch up with these. I'm going to try and show up more. Yes, do. It'll help you, honestly. It's all the things we think are going to be on the exam. If you miss one, they are recorded. You can always listen to it on a bit of a live stream, a bit of a watch back. Okay, so James Dara, thank you so much for dropping in. Sophie is doing your case study. Oh, love it. Yes, I love it. You were one of the regulars on the channel. Thank you for joining us tonight as well. Biotic is living. Well done, Fred. So we're going to put in here living organisms. So in a pond, that could be anything from algae, which is living, bacteria. These are all part of the ecosystem. Maybe things like fish would be kind of the larger scale species. So we've got algae, bacteria, and fish. They're all biotic. Cody's in there. Yep. So Fred's got a point. Cody's got a point. I do keep a little running check. Abiotic is non-living. So let's get that in there then. Non-living. So non-living features of a pond could be sunlight. It could be oxygen. Mud that's in the bottom of the pond. That's all non-living, but part of the ecosystem. And also the pH of the pond, the acidity or the alkalinity of the pond. So there is our biotic, which are living, and our abiotic, which are non-living, but they're part of the ecosystem. Okay, I want to get a little food chain going, I think. So, do you know, or can you give me a food chain for a pond, starting with a producer? Oh, in fact, here we go. Here's a question, guys. What is a producer? Hit us up in the chat. What is a producer? What are producers? Who's going to be fastest here on the finger, on the chat? What are producers? Okay, here we go. All the answers are from Sophie, not me. That's great. Thank you. Lovely. Alive and not alive. Yeah, well done. Producer is an organism that makes its own food. Yeah. So producers are usually plants. Yeah, they make their own energy from photosynthesis. So they are plants and they photosynthesize to produce energy. So from photosynthesis, okay? All right, so we're going to start with a plant, which is algae. That's a producer in a pond. Okay, can you try and tell me a little chain, a little food chain that you would find in a freshwater pond? It has to start with algae, which is kind of a green floating plant. I'm sure you've seen algae in ponds. We'll put a little picture there. What consumes, let's use the word consumes, what consumes algae, and then what could consume the next species? Well done. Something that produces energy from photosynthesis, produces its own energy, an organism that generates its own energy rather than having to consume. Well done, Cody. Well done to Tay. Excellent. A plant is a producer. Okay, have we got a pond? Okay, let's have a look here what we've got. So, minnow, yeah, which is a small fish. Perch, which is a large fish. Pike, which is also, yeah, good. That's a good one. Fish is potentially, okay. So I'm going to give you that, Cody. You have actually got a bit of a food chain going. A food chain is a flow of energy from the producer to the consumers. So our next consumer is going to be a snail. Yeah, get a little snail shell there. Yeah, pond snail. We do get pond snails which will eat the algae. They clean the pond of its detritus and dead organic material. Then what eats the snail? Well, we would have a frog would eat the snail, which is a secondary consumer. Secondary consumer, because that would eat the primary consumer, which is the snail. And then we would have perhaps a heron, which is a large bird. I'm not very good at drawing herons. If you live in Burton, which many of our viewers do, you'll see herons on the Trent. They're a very tall bird that eats fish and obviously frogs as well. And heron is our tertiary consumer. So that is our food chain. And as we go through the food chain, energy is passed along the food chain as each one consumes it, which is brilliant. Right, let's have a little look now at our pond. So we're going to draw a quick sketch of a pond because we've got some different layers going on in our pond. And we're going to put the sun on because the sun drives what goes on in the pond. In fact, all ecosystems their primary source of energy is the sun because plants require sunlight, as you know. So we've got our pond. We're going to talk about the different features around our pond, from the pond bottom to the edges of the pond, the margins and things like that. So we're going to start at the bottom of the pond down here. So I'm going to write pond bottom. Okay. Just making your notes again on your piece of paper or your revision notes, whatever you got. Okay, the pond bottom is very dark. Yeah, the light finds it very difficult to penetrate as far down as the bottom of the pond. So it's much darker. It also has less oxygen down there. So it's darker. There is less oxygen. Let me just zoom you in, guys. Yeah. There you go. So there's less oxygen at the bottom of the pond. And this is where we find our decomposers, our detrivores. So this is where you would find the pond snail living down at the bottom. And it'd be feeding off anything that's died, any plants that have sunk to the bottom, any fish that die and sink to the bottom. And that will be helping with its decomposition, or our decomposers are at the bottom of the pond. Much darker a lot less oxygen. Okay. You also find at the bottom of the pond something like a rat-tailed maggot. So you've got pond snails. Let's put the rat-tailed maggot. Ugh. And that will eat on any dead or decaying matter. Any dead organic matter will be there. Maybe we should put at the bottom our little pond snail. There we go. There's our pond snail. Cleaning up anything that's died at the base of the pond. It's much darker there. Okay, let's go to our midsection, the mid-water section of the pond. Getting a bit more. As we go up in terms of through the profile of pond, we do actually increase in biodiversity. So the biodiversity, the amount of life that lives there increases as we go up in terms of the pond profile. That's because there's more sunlight and because also there's more oxygen and it's a bit easier to survive. The conditions for survival are much better. So our mid-water area of the pond, in fact, let's just put our arrow to the pond bottom. Our mid-water level, there we go. Let's just describe that. So this is dominated by fish because in the mid-water section, dominated by fish. Yeah, you have to have gills. So let's put a fish on. You have to be able to breathe through gills to survive in that mid-water column because obviously you're underwater. So dominated by fish. It's also got dissolved oxygen in the water there. That's what the fish will breathe. And they will use their gills to absorb the oxygen and to stay alive. Yeah, that's how fish respire through their gills. They take the dissolved oxygen out of the water. If you've ever had a fish tank, you have to get a lot of movement in the water to get oxygen into it. That's what the fish need, which is really important. Okay, let's have a little look at the surface of the pond. Next, let's do the pond surface. As we're going up these stages here, we're getting more light, far more sunlight. And on the pond surface, we're going to get things like lilies. Yeah, beautiful lily pad. In fact, let's just label it there, a lily pad. Yeah, you're going to get things like lily pads on that pond surface. The pond surface is very active, okay? So we've got here maximum sunlight. Maximum sunlight, which is good. We've also got a large supply of oxygen. So this is all to do with light and oxygen levels to what lives where. Large quantities of oxygen on the surface. So because there's more things that life needs, like oxygen and light, there's going to be more species. So lily pads, we also find little beetles. They're like beetles. They're called pond skaters. They're pretty cool creatures, and they will skate on the surface here. The pond skaters. The fish like to eat a pond skater, but we're going to put that there, a pond skater. There we go. There's our little pond skater on the top. Right. Excellent. So we can see how the ecosystem changes. We've got these different layers of our ecosystem. We've got the pond bottom, which is dark and less oxygen, decomposes. We've got our mid-water level, where you have to have gills to respire. And there is a little bit more light. And then the pond surface is where there's lots of light, lots of oxygen, lots of nutrients, and everything is much more flourishing in its ability. The last one, let's do the pond margin, the edges, the pond margin. Again, this is an ideal environment for things to be living, and we tend to find lots of reeds. So it's like long grass. So on the pond margin, we tend to find reeds, which is like long grass. that grows because of the large amounts of light, and obviously the temperatures are nice for that. So we've got reeds, and we also might find our heron would be stood on the edge of the pond, again fishing and looking for what it needs. So there we go. Right, that's our pond. A little quick recap of UK freshwater pond ecosystems. I just want to do one more thing with the pond, which is threats. Yes, unfortunately, our UK ponds do face a bit of a threat. Okay. Now, in the chat, guys, what threats, what human threats or physical, natural threats might a UK pond face? What might be impacting our ponds and the health of our ponds here in the UK? So we're going to start with natural. Hit us up in the chat, guys. Get yourself a point. Let's have a little look. Pollution is correct, but what type of pollution? Where might the pollution be coming from? What's the cause of that pollution? Who is that? Is that Eliza there? Is that Eliza? I think that is Eliza. Is that Eliza? Just say yeah if you are. I think that is a fantastic answer. Eutrophication from agricultural fertilizers. That, wow. We're going to mention that in a minute. That's a fantastic one. Well done. Yes, it is. Yeah, well done. Superb, Eliza. Well done. Yeah, climate change is drying out our ponds. The water levels are dropping because of droughts. Especially last summer, we had the driest summer on record. Imagine that. Ponds rely on rainfall to maintain the water levels for the fish and all the organisms. I forgot the name for it, but city expansion, urbanization. Yeah, the growth of cities. Urbanization is Cody. Yeah. Okay, sewage is a good answer as well. Yeah, sewage pollution. Well done, guys. Eliza, Sophie, well done. And Tay's got another one. Okay, right. Let's have a look then. So we're just going to zoom in here. The threats facing our ponds. Has anybody in the chat got a pond? I'd be interested to know. Okay, natural. Let's have a look at these natural ones. Sorry, guys, I'm just going to move you in. So natural threats to ponds are climate change and drought. So last year was the driest year on record. Our ponds were reaching a very low level, including our reservoirs. If we get droughts and climate change, the water levels drop. It can lead to species loss or death, basically. Species will die because of a drying up of the pond. Right, let's have a look at the human one, which is what Eliza said. It's absolutely superb, Eliza. So human causes of or impacts on ponds. This one is a big one. Eutrophication. This one will get the examiner in a really good mood if you can remember this. Eutrophication. Okay, we're going to do a little flow diagram of what happens here. So basically, a fertilizer is basically a fertilizer is a pollutant. Yeah. So the fertilizer washes off the farmer's field. A fertilizer is designed to do one thing, which is to grow plants. It will grow plants. It will grow algae, and it will cause an algae bloom. So all that new nitrates in the pond will cause the algae to bloom. You have a massive surface on the pond which will be green. So you get this green surface, this bloom. What happens then? Well, the algae bloom blocks the sunlight. Okay, which then means plants in the water die. Submerged plants die. Not the algae. Submerged plants die. Yeah, any plants in the mid or the lower section, because the sunlight has been blocked, they will die. They will then be a bacterial bloom. because the bacteria will eat all the dead plants. Their population rapidly rises, so there is a bacterial bloom. As they consume all the dead plants, the bacteria will quickly multiply, which then reduces, because bacteria take up oxygen, they respire, they will reduce the O2 in the water column, and then unfortunately the fish in the pond will die. And that is a really devastating sequence of events. So let's just quickly recap eutrophication. Fertilizers from farmland cause algae to bloom, which blocks the sunlight, which kills submerged plants, which then the bacteria feed off. As the bacteria live, they respire and they take in oxygen, and then there's less oxygen in the water. The fish die. This is a massive problem in our freshwater ponds in the UK and around the world. So there is a nice little summary of UK freshwater ecosystems and ponds. If it comes up, hopefully now you're going to be feeling a little bit better. Okay, now I want to have a look at rainforests. I do feel this year that rainforests are going to be a big feature of our exam. And I want to make sure that we're all ready for any questions about tropical rainforests. So there is actually another live stream about the Amazon rainforest. It's well worth checking out on the channel as well as part of your revision. But right, let's go for it. So I'm going to move down here to the bottom left-hand corner just to give some facts about rainforests. Yeah, I'm going to do it in this space here. Okay. So like some background information about rainforests. And then we'll try and squeeze it in. What we try and do is get as much on one page as we can. And then what we do is we go away, we look at it, we cover it over, we blurt out what we can remember, and then we look at it again. That's a great way to revise. Okay, so if the question comes up, large-scale ecosystems, large-scale meaning covering significant areas of a country, they're also known as biomes. A biome is a large-scale ecosystem. Let's highlight that word biome. We have two biomes that we specialize in at our school, which is rainforests and hot deserts. Okay, there are two biomes. Okay, so large-scale ecosystem. Oh, we do have someone who's got a pond. Yeah, Cody's uncle. Legend. They are really good for ecosystem, like for biodiversity. Okay, large-scale ecosystems. So we're going to do. I'm going to abbreviate it to TRF. It means tropical rainforests. That's what we're going to use as like a little abbreviation. Okay, location, facts, layers. Okay, let's see how much you know. Can you tell me where I can find a tropical rainforest in the world? Whereabouts can we locate a tropical rainforest? Hit us up in the chat, get involved. Where can we find a tropical rainforest or areas of tropical rainforest? Where are they located? Between the tropics. Well done, Fred. Yeah, between the Tropic of Cancer and between the Tropic of Capricorn. You're on 3 points. 59% is found in Brazil. I did not know that. And obviously a large amount of rainforest is in Brazil, but 59%, pretty good. North and south of the equator, yeah, in a narrow band. The numbers may not be correct. The numbers aren't correct. It's between 0 and 10 degrees, north and south of the equator generally. But yeah, you're kind of right. 59%, I'm impressed with that. I didn't know that. Okay, right, let's go for it. So they're found between 0 and 10 degrees north and south of the equator. Okay, they're known as equatorial rainforests because they are in the equatorial region, okay, close to or on the equator. Give you some examples. We've got the Amazon in South America. We've got the Amazon in South America. We have the Congo in Central Africa. I'm just going to put C Africa. And yeah, they're some of the major ones. We've also got the Daintree rainforest in northern parts of Australia, Indonesia also, and Borneo has rainforests in Southeast Asia. But yeah, they're the main ones. Okay, let's go for the next one then. What is the temperature of rainforest? What's the climate? Sorry, let's go with this. What's the climate of rainforests? The climate. What have we got for climate? Because you might get a question to describe the climate of rainforests. So what have we got for this one here? Wait, I'm thinking about hot deserts. You are thinking about hot deserts, yeah. They're on the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn, which are between 20 and 30 degrees, so well done. Hot and humid, yes. Humid is a word that I want to have on our little revision. Humid, which basically means warm and wet. Yeah, so we definitely want that there. Well done to Sadhu. Sadhu. I don't know if I know you, Sadhu. Have you got? Are you at our school? I don't know. Humid, warm, daily rainfall. Humid. Well done, Cody. And it's humid, wet, high rainfall. Yeah, okay. Kinde, that's it. I knew you'd been on before. I knew you'd been on. Thank you, Kinde. Sorry. There we go. We put your score on there. Right, here we go. Climate is humid. It has a temperature range. So temperature range is between about 27 degrees to about 32 in that small, narrow range. Okay. Rainfall / precipitation, that's the better word to use. Come on, Mr. YouTube geographer. Precipitation is over 2,500 millimeters per year. Okay, 2,500 millimeters per year is the precipitation rate as well. And really important, there are no seasons. Okay, no seasons in the rainforest. It is warm, hot, tropical, all year round. There are no seasons to the climate. Okay, let's go with soils then, last but not least. Very interesting is soils, isn't it? Yeah, what are the characteristics of the soil? So hit us up in the chat, guys. How would you describe the soils in the rainforest? Can you give a characteristic of the soils? Colour, what they include, minerals that might be in there. Yeah, anything about the soil characteristics of rainforests. What have we got? Yes, nutrient poor. So they can be quite infertile. Infertile soils. Lack nutrients. Well done. Excellent. Point to you. You're on 2 now, Eliza. Wet. That made me, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to say, yeah, saturated. Means they've got lots of water in them. They are quite saturated. The soils, yeah, good. Lacking nutrients, mineral uptake, yeah. And nutrient cycle happens rapidly. Yeah, there is rapid decomposition. So anything that dies rapidly decomposes in these soils. Rapid decomposition. Often contain iron, yes. Let me put this on the little picture down here. They are iron rich. Maybe I need to use a bit of colour here as well. They're reddish because of the iron. Iron rich. And they are reddish in colour. Reddish. because of the iron that's included in them. Yep, they're iron rich, good to contain iron. They're ready brown. Well done. Yep, Cody. Soils are heavily leached. I'm going to mention that. You are so good. Well done. We're going to mention about leaching in my next little section that we do. Right. We are now going to look at some of the layers. So I'm going to go up to this top section here. Again, if you want to just get another, a little revision postcard or anything like that, yeah, grab one of those as well. So we're now going to look at the layers, or what we call the stratification of rainforest. Stratification means the layers. Okay, so I'm just going to go to this top bit up here now, and we're going to look at the layers of the rainforest. Okay, the layers are influenced by sunlight. Yeah, so we have to get the sun on here. The plants that are largest get the maximum sunlight. Yeah, the ones that are less, much smaller, they get the least amount of sunlight. Okay, so the layers of the rainforest. Let's have a little go at this. Can you name the layers? Oh, someone's beat me to it. Someone has beat me to the layers. Okay, here we go. Say canopy, under canopy, emergent, and shrub. Correct, but can I have them in order from the forest bottom? I don't want to say the answer. From the bottom to the top. Can you go upwards? I don't want to say the first one. Okay, just drawing a little sketch of the forest there whilst these answers are coming in. Thank you guys for getting involved and giving your answers. I'm doing some live revision with us this evening. Just drawing a little quick sketch of the layers. So there is very high competition. I'm going to put that up here. High competition for anything that's living in the rainforest. High competition for nutrients from the soil. High competition for light. It's not easy surviving in these very competitive ecosystems. So let's have a little look from top to bottom. Shrub layer, under canopy, canopy, and emergent layer. Well done to Fred. Awesome. Forest floor. Oh, yes, that's even better. So let's put that one in as well then. So we'll put forest floor at the bottom. Then we've got our shrub layer. It's the layer of bushes and shrubs there. This one's about 5 meters off the ground. 0 to 5 meters is the shrub layer. Then we've got our under canopy, which is the smaller trees trying to get out into the canopy, the under canopy. Well done. Then we've got our canopy, which contains over 50% of all life in the rainforest. It's known as the engine room of the rainforest. It's where most animals and plants live. It's where most flowers are, most fruit, and most berries. And then we've got our emergent trees or emergent layer. Yeah, emergent layer or emergent trees is on that one at the top there. Okay, just to give it some heights, the emergent layer is about 50 meters high above the ground. The canopy is about 35 meters, and then the shrub layer is about 5. So the under canopy is anywhere between kind of 30 to 5 meters, depending on how big that tree is. So there you got the heights. All based on sunlight. The larger trees get the most photosynthesis, the most light, so then they can photosynthesize and grow to the largest level. In this diagram, though, I just want to talk about something called leaching as well. So because of the high amounts of rainfall, a lot of the nutrients in the soil are washed down in the soil profile. Okay, this is called leaching. This is a problem with rainforest soils. So these nutrients here, because of the heavy rain, they've been washed much lower than the roots. So if we put the roots of the tree on here, look, yeah, there's the roots of the trees and the bushes. Now the nutrients, what should we put in? Let's put the nutrients in green down here. Look, the good stuff, that the nitrogen that helps plants grow gets washed down the soil profile. This is called leaching. Leaching is when infiltration washes nutrients out of the soil. This is a problem that we find in our rainforest ecosystems. Okay, very quickly, let's talk about plant adaptations. We're not going into detail about them. Can you name any plant adaptations in tropical rainforests? How have plants adapted to surviving in tropical rainforests? Plant adaptations. They do love a question on plant adaptations in rainforests, so possibly this could come up. Who knows? Possibly. Plant adaptations. Let's see what we've got here. Let's make a little list. Drip tips and waxy leaves. Okay, absolutely. Let's put these in. All right, we're just going to put them here. You make your own little revision notes. So we're going to put waxy leaves and drip tips. So the water can just run off the leaf. It protects the structure of the plant instead of holding the water. It prevents things like plant disease because of the water on the surface of the plant, and it drips water onto the roots, which helps it grow. Buttress roots, well done. Yeah, buttress roots, triangular roots for stability. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm just getting distracted by my screen over here, my phone screen, so I can see the chat going off. Waxy leaf, buttress roots, lianas. Excellent. These are the vines that climb up. In fact, we could put some lianas on this diagram here. Look, here you go. Yeah, some vines that climb up there, your lianas. They use trees to support. So that's our lianas. Let's put that on. Yeah, they use a host, lianas, a host tree to climb up. They're basically vines. Okay, that's what they are. Have we got any others? Other plant adaptations are surface root systems. So a lot of the roots are on the surface to try. Oh, sorry, guys. To maximize reaching the nutrients. So they often have surface root system to maximize any water that's on the surface or maximize the nutrient uptake. Anything that's coming from above that's decomposing is nutrients for the plants. The last one that's really good, if you can remember it, is epiphytes. Epiphytes. These are plants that grow on the surface of other plants, but they don't kill them. They don't kill them. They absorb water and nutrients from the air. So absorb water and nutrients from the air, from the atmosphere. Okay. An example of an epiphyte is an orchid. Orchids are flowers, flowering plants. I'm going to put that as a highlighted one because that's the most impressive one. That's the one that people often forget is epiphytes. Yep. So really good one to put down there. Okay, let me just cut this. So I'm just having a little look now. Running out of space here, aren't we? We're doing some really good revision now. Really quick revision on our little revision sheet here. Right, okay, next one I want to do is, that's kind of all the structure of the forest and some issues with the soil. Let's do the causes of deforestation. So I'm going to put a little subhead in here. Causes. Let's zoom you in. Causes of deforestation. Let's quickly revise this one. Causes of deforestation. Okay. So here's up in the chat, guys. What are the causes of deforestation in places like the Amazon? What is the causes of deforestation? Okay, what have we got here? Let's have a little look. Logging, well done. Excellent, Sophie. Let's put a point on for you. Commercial logging, well done. Cattle ranching, superb. Eliza, yes. Good one. Cattle ranching, I mentioned that. Mining, Eliza as well. Awesome. Mineral extraction, logging, yeah. Dams, well done, Fred. Positive strike on here. I'm keeping track of all the scores, guys. Road development, well done, Eliza. Mineral extraction. Okay, let's get into this one then. So causes of deforestation, the main one being agriculture. In particular, not that I can draw a cow. There we go, that's kind of a cow, isn't it then? Is commercial agriculture. This is where you grow food for markets such as the basically Brazil, or you can export it. So you can export it. Commercial agriculture is for big profits, farming for big profits, basically. So this can include cattle ranching. 70% of the Amazon is cleared due to cattle ranching. It's the biggest cause of deforestation in the Amazon. Cattle ranching, 70%. But it's not just cattle on land for beef. It's also things like palm oil, which is used in beauty industry, like beauty products, biscuits, cakes. It's like a creamy product that you can use as well. Oops, and I keep knocking the camera today. Amateur and soya. Okay, these are very profitable crops that you can then export. They're also known as cash crops because they are valuable. They're very valuable for export. Export and trade. Yeah, that'll help grow your gross national income of your country. It helps to create wealth. Right, let's have a look at another cause. We've got logging. Let's draw a little tree that's been cut down. Logging. Okay, mainly, so this is logging, cutting down trees for wood. It's mainly hardwoods like mahogany that are valuable. Most of the wood that's cut down is used in construction, used for building buildings, roofing, walls. So often it's used for construction, mainly the hardwoods. Mahogany is a really good example of a wood that is logged in the Amazon, very valuable. We'll do two more. We'll do mining next. Yeah, mining for usually for iron ore mines, which is used to make steel. So we've got mining activity, extraction of valuable minerals. So valuable minerals such as iron is extracted. Once you've extracted it, you can then sell it and export it to other countries, again, for huge amounts of profit. So we've got mining. They also mine iron. There's also a mine in tin there. A famous mine is the Carajás mine in Brazil. It's a famous iron mine, the Carajás, Carajás mine, the Carajás mine in Brazil. Okay, our last one is going to be causes of deforestation, is going to be subsistence farming. Farming for your own needs. So you clear the land. You clear the land to grow crops. Often they clear the land using fire, setting fires to the land, which is what I'm doing here. Why do they do that? Why do they burn the tree stumps and the bits of tree that's left behind? Why do they do that as part of their farming practice? What's the advantages of doing that? There is some advantages. So this one is subsistence farming. Let's have a look. Aren't the old wood that are expensive to... Oh, Sophia. Ah, well done. Yes, good to see you. Nice one, Sophia. Thanks for joining. Let's get you on the leaderboard. Thank you very much for dropping in. Maddie, they don't sell or burn the cut down trees. They sell the trees that they cut down. The burnt ones, they burn off the stumps. So once you obviously cut a tree down, you're left with a stump. They burn all the stumps at the end. No, you know, you're not late. You're not late. Slash and burn, yeah. So subsistence farming. This is causing 20% of deforestation in the Amazon. So about 20% of deforestation is linked to these sorts of farming practices. Land is cleared by slash and burn methods. Yeah. So burn the tree stumps, and obviously that helps to clear it. And then basically the ash will then fertilize the soil. So all the ash that's from the burnt trees will help to bring fertility to the soil. Then your crop yields will increase. So you can put there increase crop yield, so you can grow more food. Okay, right. I'm just going to put that little bit over here. These are like revision cards, aren't they? Like little sections of this little revision grid here. There we go. So that's another bit of revision. Right, we've got two more bits to go, and then we are going to do the big quiz. So stay tuned for that one. All right, up here, let's go to impacts. So get yourself a new little bit of revision space, and we're going to look at impacts of deforestation. Impacts of deforestation in the Amazon. There are many impacts of this activity. Some are positive. I know that sounds weird. Some are positive and some are negative. Okay, here we go. So hit us up in the chat, guys. What is an impact of deforestation? It can either be positive or negative. What is the impact of deforestation? I'm going to have a little drink of tea. Is that a bit better on the... I'll just put a bit more light on there. Don't know if that's a bit better or not. Impacts of deforestation. I love this. Greenhouse gases are released. Yeah, that's a good one, Sophia. But how? What causes the release of the greenhouse gases through deforestation? How does the greenhouse gases get produced? Can you tell me? Habitat loss, yeah, that's a really significant one. Well done, Cody. Habitat loss is there. Superb. What else we got? Loss of biodiversity. Yeah, plants and animals, because animals are killed. Yeah, well done, Eliza. Well done, Sophie. What have we got? Less CO2 is absorbed. Yeah, Tay, really good one. Why am I bothered about that? Why am I bothered that there's less CO2 absorbed? Tell me what the problem is next. Yeah, burning trees. Excellent. Well done, Sophia. Soil erosion. Yeah, that's a really good one, Fred. Many geographers forget that one. When you remove that vegetation, that protective layer, when it's raining heavily, we get leaching, we get soil erosion, we get gullying. Yeah. Hydroelectric power can be generated. Yes, well done. Renewable, clean, green energy. Superb. When trees are cut, the rate of photosynthesis decreases, therefore increasing the rate of, global warming, climate change. Okay. As less CO2 is absorbed, more is in the, yes. Okay, leading to climate change. Well done, guys. Right. Did we have any positives there? Oh, yeah, we had one positive from Eliza, which was hydroelectric power. Okay, here we go. Many of the positives, the reason why we cut down trees is for economic gain. Yeah, economic gain. There is big value in chopping trees, mining rainforests, farming, agricultural practices. They're mainly for economic gain. Let me tell you how much economic gain we have. So let me just put this into numbers. Okay. Right. Okay. Economic gain. So in terms of economic gain, it's worth around about $8 billion. Okay. $8 billion comes from agricultural products that are exported. Agricultural exports. That can be from things like soya, beef, palm oil, worth $8 billion to the economy of Brazil. This is $8 billion. I don't know why I put my dollar symbol the wrong way around. Anyway, this also improves economic development. So people have money, people have wealth. That will then increase the country's gross national income. The wealth of the country will increase as it gets more trade, more exports, more sales. Also, people will have jobs. So apparently, let me just put that, 27 million jobs are created through industries in the Amazon, which is huge. Yeah, 27 million people will work in the Amazon region on logging, mining, hydroelectric power, agriculture, farming. That's a lot of jobs. That's huge amounts of positives, isn't it? Yeah, 27 million jobs created, which then, if people are working, can actually trigger the multiplier effect, which that means that people have jobs, they spend more money that's spent can be taxed. More taxes means more money for the government. They can improve healthcare, education. This one here, guys, multiplier effect is a biggie. Get it in your exam. I'm going to highlight it. Yeah, multiplier effect. It means things improve. Give people jobs. They spend more money. More spending means more taxes. More taxes means more money for the government to spend on healthcare, education, those sort of things. Right, multiplier effect. Good. So that's the positives out the way. Let's think about the negatives. So we're going to go with many of the negatives tend to be environmental. So most of the positives are economic. Many of the negatives are environmental. So we'll have a little look at these environmental negatives. And we'll write a little kind of list. So we've got from Fred, soil erosion. Yeah, the trees protect the soil. If the trees are removed, the soil is exposed to erosion. This could be things like leaching, which you've already mentioned, or even more extreme, desertification. Yeah. Stay tuned for next week's live stream on hot deserts. We will cover desertification in that live stream as well. But desertification, the drying out of the soil, turning to desert. So that would be there as well. The big one, which is climate change. Yeah. Deforestation causes climate change, and we're going to draw a little diagram here to show why that is the case, because it's really important to be able to know the difference. So CO2 in the atmosphere is absorbed by plants. Let's just zoom you in a bit closer again. So this is an area of forest that hasn't been deforested. So carbon dioxide is absorbed into the plants via photosynthesis. So CO2 from the atmosphere is taken out. This is known as a carbon sink. A carbon sink absorbs more carbon than it releases. So when you've got trees and forests, you've got a carbon sink. When you've got deforestation, which is what's in this picture here, when you've got deforestation on here, this becomes a carbon source. Yeah. Because the CO2 will be released back into the atmosphere, usually through burning. Yeah. So when you burn those tree stumps, you're going to release CO2 back into the atmosphere, so it's a source. Carbon source releases more CO2 than it absorbs. So that's the difference. So deforestation on the right, in fact, let's just put that there, deforestation, causes climate change because of the release of CO2. So let's have a quick rundown of why that is. So if you have deforestation, you have less vegetation, less plants. You have a reduction in photosynthesis because you've got less trees. It's like a knock-on sequence of events. You've then got less CO2 absorbed by plants because you've got less plants. Less plants means less CO2 is absorbed by them. Therefore, you will increase atmospheric CO2, which is a greenhouse gas. And therefore, if you've got more CO2 in the atmosphere, you've also got increased temperatures and climate change. Increased temp/climate change. Big issues there. Okay, so that's kind of the sequence of events when you have deforestation. The other one is species loss. I'm just going to squeeze it in here just to save paper. So I've got one little bit of space just to finish off with today. Species loss, habitat loss, species loss. I'm just going to squeeze it in that little gap there. And at the moment, there are 137 species in danger in the Amazon region. They're in critical danger because of habitat loss through mining, through cattle ranching, which is very, very problematic. Okay, right. That's the impacts, mainly environmental, as we've said. Okay, let's go down to the final bit. Let's finish off today on a high, guys. Absolutely smashing it. We're going to do the management of rainforests. Managing deforestation. Okay, we've only got a little bit of space here, so we'll see how much we can squeeze in. So in your chat now, this is the last chance in the chat before we do our quiz. How do we manage deforestation? How can we reduce deforestation? How can we make our rainforest more sustainable? What have we got here? What strategies can we use to reduce deforestation or manage deforestation? All right, let's have a little look, see who has got some good answers. Okay, Fred, selective logging is correct. What do we mean? But what is selective logging, by the way? What is selective logging? Need a drink. Working in local governments, education, promoting sustainability, promoting the protection of rainforests, really good one. Ecotourism. What is ecotourism? That's a really good one. What is ecotourism? I'd love to know. Protection by the government. Yeah, national parks. Well done. You can set up national parks, areas where you're not allowed to clear the trees. Sophia, you've got a point there. Let's have a little look. Selective logging, well done. Can you tell me what selective logging is? Ecotourism and ecotourism, well done, guys. Kinde and who was the bottom one? Tay. Ecotourism is probably one of the best things that you can talk about there. Selective logging, conservation, well done. Debt reduction, well done, Eliza. Debt reduction. How does debt reduction work, Eliza? How does debt reduction work? How can you save trees by reducing debt? International agreements, well done, Tay. Well done. Awesome. International agreements. Selective logging is when you minimize the number of trees cut down to reduce the mass and the number of trees cut down. Yeah, good. How might you select your trees that you can take? Fred, how do you select the trees that you want? What might be the rule that you use for selecting your trees? Afforestation. Yeah, Eliza, well done. Simple one. Planting trees and replacing the ones that you've cleared is a sustainable way of managing the forest. Afforestation, ecotourism, encourage tourists to spend money locally, educate the tourists and boost the economy. Yeah, multiplier effect, isn't it there? Multiplier effect. If you give people local jobs, then that will improve their quality of life and they'll have more money to spend. So yeah, ecotourism is a sustainable, low impact way to travel to natural areas, conserve them, respect them, and benefit. I don't know. Is that your own words? That is like perfect, Kinde. That is like awesome. Yeah, that is exactly what ecotourism is. Low impact, educational, creating jobs. Yeah, learning about the rainforest. That is fantastic. Governments don't need to fell the trees to pay off debts. They protect them and prevent logging. Well done, Eliza. Select certain trees that can be cut down. Yeah, absolutely. Well done. Right, let's get into these then. Let's just go for a quick list. Number one. Let's do number one. I don't know how many we can fit in here, but number one is going to be debt for nature. So this is the one that Eliza's mentioned, debt for nature projects. Okay. So this happened in the US. So in 2011, the US wiped or reduced, got rid of 28 million pounds of Indonesia's debt. Indonesia's debt to protect the rainforest. So Indonesia was in debt to the US by the number of 28 million. The US said, don't worry about paying back that debt, but conserve the trees within your country, protect them as a payment. Your payment is to protect your trees. What that means to the US is they can say, we can carbon offset. So our emissions in the US are high, but we've got trees in Indonesia that are absorbing X amount of carbon, which then helps the planet. So this is how they can get around it. Number two, all the ones that you've said in the chat are absolutely right. Number two is NGOs, non-governmental organizations can put pressure, like charities can put pressure on governments to act. Non-governmental organizations, so they're not the government, they are charities, but they can put pressure. So the examples are Greenpeace, and the WWF, the World Wildlife Fund, all help to put pressure on governments to take action, to set up national parks, to plant trees, put pressure on governments of countries like Peru, Brazil, Colombia to preserve areas of rainforest. Okay, number three, I'm going to try and get five in. It's going to be a bit of a squeeze. Number three, that's a terrible three. Oh dear. Anyway, that's number three, guys. Number three is going to be selective logging. Selective logging. This is where you only cut down certain trees, usually by their size or species? So the species that are in abundance, or the trees that are larger can be taken. The smaller trees have to be left to grow out. So size or species. And basically what we're doing here is we're putting quotas on how many trees can be cleared. This year, X amount of trees, 10,000 trees can be taken from this region of the Amazon. We put a quota on it. They have to be a certain circumference around the trunk. The smaller trees must be left to grow out. So quotas and limits. Okay, we must do international agreements for number 4 and then end with, I don't know what's going on with that number 4 either. Oh, I think I'm getting tired, guys. Here we go. International agreements, international law, international agreements and laws. And at the moment we have 70 countries signed up. 70 countries have signed to protect the Amazon. The Amazon. Okay, and I have run out of room, but I'm just going to squeeze it in. Probably one of the best strategies is ecotourism. Don't clear the trees. You don't need to clear the trees for economic gain. You can make money by protecting the trees and inviting tourism into the area. I'm just going to put Kindays on there. If I could fit it in, that would be fitting there. Ecotourism is about education, conservation, and making sure that people in the local area can make money out of it. You can also make little souvenirs. The local people make souvenirs for the tourists. They can sell those. They can sell food products when they come and stay with them. Yeah, lots of money can be made from this approach. Costa Rica is a really good example of ecotourism. Okay, that is a lot about ponds and rainforests. Look at that now. Again, all ready for you to practice, to cover up, to try and remember for your exam this year. So hopefully you've enjoyed that little bit of the active revision. Awesome, guys. The scores on the doors before we go to the quiz are Fred is on 7, Cody's on 4, Tay's on 5, Eliza's on 8, Sophie's on 3, Kinday's on 3, and Sophia is on 2. So the winner of the active Q&A is Eliza in first. But that doesn't mean anything. Can you win the quiz? So let me get on to the Kahoot. If you're joining in live on YouTube, get your little Kahoot. You can download the app or go to the Kahoot login page, join game. And we're going to see who is the ultimate geographer in today's live stream. If you've enjoyed the live stream, please give us a thumbs up at the bottom. It does really help. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. We are one of the few channels on YouTube doing live revision all the way up to the geography exams. So give us some love as well on the channel. We really appreciate that. Okay, ecosystems, right. I'm just found, let's get rid of that one. Let's invite that one. Screen share, Kahoot, share. Okay, host live. So let me know what you can see. Hopefully this is coming on now. Here we go. There you go, guys. I'm just going to minimize myself in the corner. There you go. And you should have gained. Oh, no, you haven't. Sorry, guys. Let me just swap screens here. Swap screen share. Go to it here. Thank you for your patience. Yep, there we go. If you want to join us next week, we'd love to see you. We're going to do hot deserts, ecosystems on next week's live stream. And we've basically got a live stream for every topic before the exam here on YouTube. If you miss one because you're busy, please just watch it on catch up. Excellent. Thanks for joining in the quiz, Eliza, Fred, Eleanor. Eleanor, where were you? You've been very quiet in the chat. Good to see you. Cody, mystery pupil. A mystery pupil, okay. Whoever the mystery pupil is, I am very interested now. Okay, anybody else going to join us? You've got literally 10 seconds. I'm just packing my stuff away here as well. Okay, Tay, excellent. Right, there is a couple of questions at the end about hot deserts. I'm not going to go to them. So I think there's 15 questions, guys. 15 questions. And then we'll see who the winner is. Right, here we go. Let's get on to this. Fred's in as well, right? Kinde's in. Right, are you ready? Ecosystems under pressure, ponds and deserts. Question 1. What percentage of the Earth's surface is covered in rainforests? 12, 3, 70 or 45? Answers are coming in. What percentage of the Earth's surface is covered in rainforests? It is only 12%. 70% is cleared by cattle ranching. That's probably where you got confused. Only 12%. Eleanor is the only person off the mark here. Well done, Eleanor. Number 2. What is... Oh, I think I've just mentioned this. What is the main cause of deforestation? I don't think you're going to get this wrong here. What is the main cause of deforestation? The answer is cattle ranching. What's going on here, guys? Cattle ranching is the main cause of deforestation. 70% of all deforestation. Sir, please can you remove the comment? I can't see. Which comment? Oh, is it? Oh, sorry, guys. Yeah, we're still learning on the channel. We're still learning. Whose is that one? That's this one. That's why we're getting it wrong, is it, I guess? Right, okay. Sorry, guys. No wonder you can't see the answers. Okay, number 3. What is the average annual rainfall in the Amazon? What is the average annual rainfall in the Amazon? No problems, James. Sorry, can't read the chat. Is blocking. Yeah. Oh, now we're getting them right. It's all Sir's fault. Good. Now you can see the answers. You can get them right now. Sorry, guys. Which layer of the rainforest contains roughly 75% of all life? Thank you very much, Fred, for your kind words. That emoji was an accident. I didn't see that emoji, so I don't know what it was. Was it an unhappy one? I don't know. Canopy is where most life lives. How much economic value does agriculture bring to Brazil per year? How much money is generated from agriculture? Is it 8, 28, 55 or $3 billion a year? If you are, well done, it's 8 billion. If you are late to the show, guys, the Kahoot code is at the bottom. The leaderboard is switching around here. Which height? Oh, you're going to have to guess this one. I haven't mentioned this. Which dam is in the photograph? Which is a dam in the Amazon? This is tricky. I like this, though. This will separate the scores and make it a little bit more interesting. No one got it right. So the Carajás is a mine. The Trans-Amazonia is a road. Costa Rica is not in the Amazon. So the Balbina Dam is the correct answer. The Balbina Dam. I think I've pronounced that right. Why are tropical rainforest soils considered highly infertile? One of the reasons is because there's so many trees and plants taking up the nutrients, the demand on nutrients. which is the other one. Okay, yes, we know our soils. Well done to the leaderboard there. 8. What is an example of an international management strategy to protect rainforests? International management strategy between countries. Is it subsistence farming, building trans-Amazonian highways, debt reduction, or mining? Ooh, very good. Yeah, debt reduction is an international strategy. Number 9. What type of pressure system do we find in tropical rainforests? Oh, this is going to work your brains. I'll give you a bit of a clue. Obviously, it's got very high precipitation. So there's a lot of air rising here, a lot of moisture rising. Moisture rising, carrying with it. Ooh, 2 people got that right. It's low pressure. High pressure is on deserts. Low pressure is on the equator. So who got that? Oh, the 2 top ones got it right. I wanted them to get it wrong, so then it made it a bit more interesting. Number 10. Deforestation turns the rainforest from a carbon sink into a what? Carbon source, carbon deposit, carbon neutral zone, carbon vacuum. Sir, can you please move? What display? I don't know what he's on about. Don't know what you're on about. Yeah, it becomes a carbon source. What display? What, you don't want me on? Okay. There you go. Thanks, Cody. You got rid of me. Right, I'm still here by voice. The display of me. Oh, thanks, Fred. UK freshwater pond. Which of the following represents a typical food chain in a pond? Which of those? Your camera, as it covers the yellow option. Oh, thanks. Yeah. Sorry, guys. It does actually. Well done. Algae. Yes, well done. That one's the correct food chain. Which layer of the pond typically has the lowest levels of oxygen and decomposition occurs? You're welcome, Cody. I've sorted it out now. Don't worry, by the time the exam comes, we'll be pros at YouTube. We will be all pros, but still a bit rusty at the moment. Well done, the pond bottom. No, not much changing in the positions. 13, what major environmental threat do UK ponds face? What major environmental threat do UK ponds face? I think we might go to 20. There's some questions about deserts, though. Hot deserts. So, well, that'll be a good test of your knowledge because we haven't revised those yet. 14. Which of these species is typically an apex predator? Well, if you get it wrong, there's a picture there. There is a picture of one. There's often one hanging near Burton Bridge, near the weir. There's a weir just off the bridge in Burton, and you often see it stood there. Apex means the top of the pyramid. Well done. It is the heron. Is the apex predator. Right, okay. I think we've got one more pond question. What crucial role does algae and water lilies play in the pond? Are they decomposers, producers, primary consumers, or apex predators? Hope you're enjoying tonight's quiz on the live stream. Well done. They are plants. They are producers. Okay. Ooh, quicker, faster finger. Cody's gone to number 1. Okay. Right. I think these are about deserts now. So let's see if you can remember anything about the Thar Desert. What is the main primary cause of lack of water insecurity in the Thar Desert? Well done. Low precipitation rates and high evaporation rates. Okay, number 17. How does water scarcity in the Thar Desert contribute to gender inequality? The picture might give you an idea. So which of these leads to gender inequality in the Thar Desert? Oh, well done. Excellent. Yeah. 18. What makes accessibility and road building difficult in the Thar Desert? That one's pretty straightforward. If you get that wrong, there's a bit of a worry. Well done. Yeah, it's the heat melts the tarmac and sandstorms block the roads. Okay, we're nearly there. We've got 2 questions. I can feel the pressure. Double points. What specific threat does over-tourism pose to the Jaisalmer fort? Which one do you think is impacting the Jaisalmer fort? Correct. High water demand is meaning that the foundations are unstable. Does that change the board? Oh, no, it doesn't. Okay, last question. 20 out of 20. Double points. Which major infrastructure project has helped to alleviate water insecurity? What have they built to bring water security to this region? Oh, no one got it right. The canal system. The Indira Gandhi Canal System. Okay, so there's no change on that last one. Here we go. Our 3rd place, Geography Geeks of the Week. Fred, thank you for joining us tonight. Fred, appreciate that. Eleanor is in 2nd place, and in 1st place, Geography Geek of the Week this time is Cody. Well done, guys. Thank you for joining us. Let me just go very on stage here. There we go. Thank you for joining us, guys, on tonight's live stream. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and the notification bell. We're back next week looking at Thar Desert and hot deserts. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care, guys, and good night. Thank you.